とは言いながら。
You can see here the immensity of what has happened. This used to be literally a swamp, and it didn't go just up to the top terrace there. It was sort of a mountain on top of the swamp, and those woods in the distance you couldn't see before, literally. That green brush is still to go, but you'll notice all of this brush here, and there's a lot of it. This has all just come out today. This is not the work that happened the other day. Exceptional amount of brush, pile high. Look at it. Paul's got his chipper going. So anyway, we'll see how it takes to process. Well, hello and welcome once more to the hill. I'm going to crack on with a bit of Maduro. I've had a good day. I think you'll have seen some of it on the opening filmage, and rather a bit of fun of me waving a sword about. So I'm in full a la mode Japan. Enjoying a drop of tawny port. And well deserved really after today's efforts. Some of you will remember that I did a video a while back about meerschaums, and you remember I bought this case and the blessed pipe wouldn't fit. Wow, I've been whittling today. Normally I'm whittering, but I've been whittling this case so that it will fit my talon pipe. What I've effectively done is just rather crudely sawn out a couple of pieces, which I will fill with felt, or maybe do the whole thing back in silk, but you can see my rather botched job. And the reason was I bought this to protect this beautiful Victorian pipe, which you know, sports this wonderful carving and solid silver ferrule with Baltic amber. So it's a beautiful thing, and I really wanted to sort of protect it really. So bought that, wouldn't go in because there's these bits here, that bit there, well principally that bit there, you know, it stopped it going in. So I've whittled it away. It's one of those sort of make do and whatever jobs. So I'm going to fill this up with some Maduro now, and I'm ready for it, frankly. The progress today, well, immense amount of progress. I totally underestimated the amount of brush. It is so, it's not only all along, it's deep brush, and there are big logs in it too. But Paul, who's been doing it's been grand. He brought his stepdaughter along today to help out, and an extra pair of hands does work for just passing the branches up, and then she can get them to the chipper. I think she did a bit of the chipping actually. So I thought it'd all be done today in the same silly manner as I thought that one container would contain all my worldly goods, which it didn't, and I had to get another one. Bit of a wind up today, if you might get a bit of noise. So, cut a long story short, yeah, I'm going to have Paul down again tomorrow. I don't even know if he'll finish it tomorrow. But I've got to get that cleared because I've got Sam the Digger Man coming on Tuesday to level that track. So it's all happening. Oh, can you hear that clip clop? See, that's the only sound you'll get. That's the only social intercourse that I experience. Listening to little horses going past. But anyway, so yeah, bit by bit we're getting there. As I said on the last video, I don't really get exercise overly much because everything sort of happens. Everything comes, happens in its own way and at its own time. And shout out to a chap, I think he's called Chris, over at Heron Pipes on the YouTube. That is he's a pipe maker, nice fella. He doesn't just make pipes. He likes to sit back and have a chat too, and smoke his pipe. So he's a good fellow. So do check him out. I wonder if he can make a pipe like that though. Now that would be a challenge, eh? Great one, this tiny bowl. But you get quite a long smoke out of it. It's not too bad. But no, I was musing today on something Chris, I hope it is Chris, I'm sure it is, said on this video when he was talking about my channel. And he was watching one of the vids where, I think it might have been yesterday's, where I said, just when I get this place right, I'll pop me clogs. And he thought that was rather sad, poignant in his words. And, well, I suppose it would be. But you see, I rather take the long view. This idea of getting something right, but then not being around to enjoy it. Like smoking a pipe, you've got to take your time. That's me Ashburn done. I watch a lot of these renovation things, principally so I can learn how to lime render and do other useful things. But a lot of them, not all of them, but I would say most of them, they're all absolutely breaking a neck to get in. And they're in there, putting their stud walls up and their concealed lighting. I don't like them at all, but that seems to be what people want. So they buy nice old cottages, and then inside they just look like wimpy homes, on some executive estate. Can't quite see the point of that. But anyway, that's what people like, and that's what they do. But invariably, they're all, like myself, they're sort of living in a caravan, but they hate it. They hate living in the caravan, and they hate mud. They're always on about the mud, and oh, they have this and they have that, and oh no, they saw a rat the other day, and oh, it's all too much. And they, and so basically, what I'm trying to say is, they just can't wait to get in the house, and they can't wait for the project to be finished. But I rather subscribe to the idea that, and it goes on into what I talked about the other day about life being a journey, that, it is better to travel hopefully than to arrive. And by that I mean the enjoyment should be in the present moment in our lives. I mean, my present moment is most enjoyable. One, I'm talking to you, which is fun. I'm smoking my pipe. And I've got a glass of port in hand. What's not to enjoy? This is the present moment. And yes, there's mountains of work to be done. Mountains of work to be done. On the land and on the house. Do I care? Do I hell? Because it will get done eventually in its own time. What I've done in life is I've I've learned to enjoy the journey. I'm not really that bothered about the destination. I like the direction of travel. I like that, for example, today you can see the fruits of one's labour. You see the improvement. I think that's the secret, as long as you're seeing some sort of improvement. And again, it segues into what I said, I think, yesterday, about the spiritual life and the journey into the heart of God. As long as you're seeing some sort of improvement, or at least you're moving in the right direction. You see, there are some people who they probably would believe that the right direction is living in heaven with God. That is the direction of travel. And indeed, to a certain extent, it is. If you think of heaven in terms of being a destination, which I don't, and a place, which I don't, I see it more as a state of being. So I don't really subscribe to that idea. But there are a lot of people who can't wait to get to heaven and be with Jesus. And they have a rather cartoonish version of what it is. Like you're on a bus and you get off in heaven, or you get kicked off into hell. And they're like places, you know. And you get to wander about, you know, like Korean tourists maybe taking photos of everything, I don't know, of St. Peter. And he greets you at the pearly gates. I don't really subscribe to that cartoonish version of reality, although I can see how it could be helpful for some people. But my main concern is not the fact that it's cartoonish, it's that some people have opted out of this world. They're so invested in the next world that they're not really invested, nor possibly enjoy this world. And so everything is sinful, everything's naughty, everything's to be avoided. You've got to spend every waking moment making sure you're good enough or worthy enough or forgiven enough to go to this location. And so that's why there's always been this motif. You see it on films, don't you? You see it in books, where you get these rather grim religious folk. And it doesn't matter whether they're Catholic priests, Catholic nuns, whether it's a Presbyterian minister in the valleys, you know, but they're thundering down God's mercy and grace and forgiveness from the pulpit. And everyone's going away wetting themselves that they might go to the other place and get prodded by Satan and his demons. Now, it might sound like I'm belittling all of that. I can understand it and I appreciate all of it. But you see, the trouble is they become so invested in the next life that this life just becomes a bit of a pain and a bit of a worry and something to be avoided. And that pleasure is something equally to be avoided, rather than being a foretaste of heaven. And it's the same for some Muslims who are into jihad and blowing themselves up, and lots of innocent people with them, because they're told they're going to go and enjoy, is it 144 virgins or something near a swimming pool and drink flagons of wine. So you can understand why, as a martyr, because martyrs go straight to heaven, of course, they might want to do that. It might be better than their ghastly life in the back streets of Paris or London. But as I say, I don't subscribe to this. What I subscribe to do is find heaven now, find the present moment now, inhabit it, enjoy it, experience it as a gift from God, and a moment in which you can connect with God. Because this world is not at odds with God, and neither is your human nature. It might war against the Spirit of God, if you're particularly profligate, and that can be worked with and forgiven. But on the whole, I see the journey into God as the journey into creating a beautiful home here, bringing it back from death. I mean, it is a resurrection. It's a Lazarus come forth from the grave. Because this place was dead and forgotten. It hadn't been inhabited for donkey's years. I think 40 or 50 years. And that's why all the trees are all overgrown. They probably thought they were quite nice when they put these little saplings out or whatever they did. And now it's costing me tens of thousands to reverse all of that. But what I'm trying to do is rescue the home. I hope the home is appreciative of my efforts to take it from its buried forest expose it, fix it up, inhabit it, and bring it back to life. You know, because if I hadn't come along, or if it hadn't been offered for sale, it indubitably would have literally crumbled into the woods and been forgotten. It'd just be one of those noble ruins where you just see piles of stones on the floor, covered in moss. So that's my words of wisdom for today. Take stock of your life, as I said yesterday, but enjoy the present moment, whatever that moment might be. Now, some people might say, well, that's all right for you, Father John, you're living in idyllic circumstances. Well, if you call living in a caravan, but but I know people are in pain, I know people have mental issues, I know people have relationship issues, I know people have work issues, I know that's part of the mess of life. Because to get to the state we need to be in, you're honed by suffering. You're honed by it. In the same way that bringing this cottage back to its pristine condition and loveliness, I have to wade through mess. I'm looking at the mess now, over there. I have to wade through the mess. I have to process the mess. And I can tell you, although I might look like I'm sitting comfortably now, I know what it's like to be in hell on this side of eternity. I won't go into the boring details. Those who know me might be able to understand some of the things I've been through in my life, but I've been through the mill and through the ringer. So I know it's not just me, I know it's some of you too. And so I pray for you. But if you can look at the bigger picture, that mess in a sense is necessary for the spiritual journey. It's a process, if you will, of almost purification. You can then embrace it slightly more bravely and have hope. But what is at the end of it all is a far better condition for yourself and for your circumstances. And you need to latch on to that, because that is the case. That is the case. That is the case for all of us. God wills your best. God wills his best for the creation, for you, for the planet, for the cosmos. And as I think it was Pope Benedict the 16th said, Jesus wins in the end. So on that note, I'm going to leave you. You've seen enough footage, you've heard me witter on long enough. This pipe is rather marvellous, enjoying it. Smokes very well for a pipe that's probably over 150, 175 years old. Mid-Victorian, I think. So, hope you're well wherever you are tonight, or in the morning, or the afternoon in America. I've got lots of American viewers at the moment, which is rather fun. And I will see you on the next video, God willing. And enjoy your evening. Try not to allow things to encroach overly. See the bigger picture, take time out, meditate, be silent before your Creator. And know that He's got your best interests at heart. And on that note, I'll sign off. See you on the next video, God willing.